Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn quay trở lại với livestream của Pyrelics Gaming. 9 phút nữa thôi thì sẽ bắt đầu. Let's turn back on the volume. Yo, hello. Bao giờ thì mới ra mùa mới? Nếu mà livestream hôm nay thì tuần sau sẽ ra mùa mới. Thường thì nó sẽ vào thứ bảy. Thì cũng mình nghĩ chắc cũng là cỡ 3 giờ sáng thứ bảy tuần sau. Hy vọng 2 giờ sáng, 2 giờ sáng hay là 3 giờ sáng gì đó. Nếu mà chơi 2 giờ sáng thì ok hơn. Mình thích 2 giờ sáng hơn là 3 giờ sáng. Thì 2 giờ sáng có thể chơi được lâu hơn, 3 giờ sáng chơi con chút xíu con nó dậy rồi. Lại trời sáng đó, nó chơi được rồi. So hy vọng là 2 giờ sáng. Yo, hello. Một giờ ngày 30 hả? Ồ, 1 giờ thì càng tốt nữa. Chơi được lâu hơn nữa. Nhưng mà sáng dậy như zombie thiếu ngủ. May quá, nãy mình ngủ được. Ngủ được từ hồi lúc 10 giờ, 10 rưỡi gì đó cho đến 2 giờ là cũng được bao lâu nhỉ? 3 tiếng rưỡi hả? Cho nên bây giờ cảm thấy là nó tỉnh. Hồi lúc trước hình như mình không ngủ luôn cho nên mặt nó hơi đơ. Ok, 7 minutes more. Trong khi đó mình vào game đi ha. Rồi không cũng chán. Để canh giờ chứ. At 7 minutes. So, oh yeah, 3 giờ. Let's put some of the this in. Cuối mùa này còn 300 divine. Mùa này divine giá ảo á. Oh, I'm gonna miss. Mình sẽ nhớ cái inventory này lắm luôn. 3G nó không thêm cái content này vào thì nó sẽ không còn cái inventory nhỏ này nữa. That's sad. Where did I go? Why did I get this? Tầm 12 giờ đêm. Yeah. Nếu mà oh no. Oh, nhìn cái resist không thì ok. Nhìn lên cái quantity thấy reduce 2%. Nó 10% increase là ngon rồi. Well, trash. Yeah, chừng mùa mới ra thì sẽ khó để mà đi ngủ hơn. 12 giờ đêm là phải ngồi chờ nó update. Nếu mà nó ra 2 giờ sáng thì còn đỡ đi, mình không còn phải chờ lâu. Chứ nếu mà nó ra 3 giờ sáng thì ơi ngồi thêm 3 tiếng nó mệt vậy. Mà phải chờ để mà xếp hàng vô nữa chứ 3 giờ sáng dậy thì đâu có chơi được liền. Phải xếp hàng lâu đó từ 1 giờ hoặc là 2 giờ rồi. Mà lúc đó cảm giác nó nôn nao, nó cũng đâu ngủ được. Oh, let's put this here with this. Bước qua mùa mới, hay nó có bot cái đi cái này hay không ta? Tôi bỏ vào đây cho chắc. Đừng nó mất đi cái inventory này, cái hai bình này nó mất luôn. Chào thầy ăn lê quýt. Giờ này chào thầy, học sinh nào ở đâu giờ này thức mà chào thầy. Yo, hello. Chơi với tay cầm chưa hả? Chưa. Tôi có tay cầm ở đây nè, nhưng mà chưa có thử chơi với tay cầm. Ôi dạ, mình hình như phải cắm nó vô thì nó mới hiển thị lên đây. Dạ, nhưng mà tôi chưa chơi thử với tay cầm. Cái cầm của tôi bỏ đâu nha. Tay cầm để bữa nào cắm vô chơi thử. Ôi mà game này mà chơi tay cầm thì làm sao mà chơi? Bấm nhiều nút quá. Hoặc là bữa nào chơi một cái build mà đi bộ không thì chắc chơi tay cầm được. Mà không, cái build này tôi chơi tay cầm được nè, bấm có một nút à. Bình thì bấm có một bình à, mấy bình kia may explode hết rồi. Một tới cái không có thể để những cái skill instant cast này ở chuột trái như thế này nữa. Tiếc nha. Theo phản xạ tự nhiên là lúc nào di chuyển mình cũng như mình giữ cái chuột trái luôn mặc định như vậy rồi. Bây giờ nếu mà không bỏ skill vào chuột trái thì tiếc quá. Thầy biết gì chưa? Biết gì? Biết gì chưa là biết gì, có gì để biết. 2 phút nữa thì sẽ bắt đầu. Rồi, ngồi đi chờ luôn. Mùa này không thấy mùi dế vậy ta? Bữa giờ không thấy mùi dế. Hay là tuần sau nó mới có mùi dế nha. Mùa này chưa thấy nó mùi dế vậy. Chưa mua được con dế nào hết. Chưa thấy nó giảm giá. Yeah. Where is the Frost Blink? Nah, it's not on sale. Hồi bữa nó giảm giá skill mà quên mua cái này. Thế nó là sắp ra rồi hả? Cái nên full screen không hay là để như thế kia để dễ nhìn thấy được cái chat, những người xem đang react cái gì luôn. So yeah, maybe I'll put it like this. 15 seconds, let's go. Các bạn nghe rõ không? Để tôi max cái volume này lên.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Yay,
welcome
Chris
to our live
is
stream.
back.
We have a busy lineup today with announcements for Path of Exile 2, as well as the exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Necropolis, which launches on March 29th. For the first time ever, we'll be releasing this expansion simultaneously on all platforms, PC, Mac, and console.
Wow.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your suffering back attachment.
Check xem có login Twitch nha.
Today's stream will start with Path of Exile 2, where Jonathan will show you our latest announcements. Mark will then take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Necropolis Challenge League, which launches in 1 week. He'll cover the League mechanics, its deep crafting system, large endgame changes, some improvements to the core Path of Exile campaign, and finally some quality of life features.
Mình không thích xem
We'll
Path of
then show you our
Exile
new
2
supporter
lắm.
packs, and we'll head into a live
Nó
Q&A
chậm
session where Ziggy D
xem
will
chán
ask us
lắm.
your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
Ok.
Hey guys, it's time to chat about PoE 2 again. It's only been a few months since we talked about the Mercenary, and yet even since then, a huge amount has changed. When we announced the Mercenary, we also showed off a lot of the new capabilities that our engine has around animation and character control. Moving while shooting was a huge deal in that class, but there were a lot of other more subtle things going on to make it feel good too. Well, in recent times we've only been showing off new character classes, but one thing I've been really excited about is to go back and apply all the new ideas and capabilities that we have to our old classes too. Today I'd like to show off the Ranger, and I hope that you guys like what you see.
Ok. Ranger thôi hả? Không có nhân vật nào khác à?
I've lived in this forest all my life. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that a ranger
Skip ở đâu ấy nhỉ?
must never
Không có nút
miss.
skip. Bắt buộc phải xem rồi.
A beast will hunt you. But it is the cruelty of man I fear.
What?
There is no truly escaping the Count's justice.
Your sentence is to be hanged from the neck until dead. Let your souls feed the first ones, and your bodies feed the land. After her!
Chắc này phải Exile nữa. Và Death Row luôn rồi.
This exile has changed me. No more running. No more fear.
You won't get away this time.
I will put an end to this madness.
Wow, đưa sự máu. Nó mới tưởng ngựa à, hay đưa đâu cũng cho sói.
Let this be a warning,
Oh, there's gonna be a
GearUp.
mount.
I'm coming
PoE
for
2.
you next.
Đừng có như Diablo 4 bán con ngựa 65 đô.
Let the hunt begin.
When we started to work on the Ranger, we knew we had to make a class with high agility. The dream of fast bow gameplay is Legolas, so that's what we wanted to deliver. The starting point is moving while shooting a bow. Any kind of basic arrow skill can be fired while moving, with a movement penalty. This immediately gives you a lot more freedom on the battlefield. Here I'm starting each battle with a poison burst arrow to poison groups of enemies, then using a lightning arrow to arc lightning around larger packs. For even more mobility, we also have a variety of skills that involve vaulting around the battlefield too. This is Frost
Mixed stream
Escape.
hả?
Using it jumps backwards and shoots a
Đây
freezing
là-
arrow at the ground. Really useful if monsters close on you and you need to get away.
Tìm ra thôi.
Once you've landed, if monsters were frozen, it'd be nice to have some way to take advantage of that extra time. This is where Snipe comes in.
Nha, mình không
Snipe is a skill
mở
shot
full
that you
screen
need
tại
to
vì
charge up and release
muốn xem
exactly
bên
the right time.
chat ở bên đây họ phản ứng
If
như
you
thế
land the
nào.
right timing, Snipe is guaranteed to produce a critical strike, and does a small AoE as well, so it's a great
Zoom,
finisher.
càng zoom nó càng nhỏ. So no,
You can
no.
also move while shooting arrow rain skills too. This skill is
there.
Lightning Rod. It
Maybe
shoots
it's
an
better.
arrow into the air that sticks into the ground and does a small AoE. Once the rods are in the ground though, they attract any arcs of lightning that are nearby, causing them to explode again. This means you can stack up a bunch of lightning rods on the ground and bounce lightning between them, doing way more damage. Now this takes care of packs pretty well, but for bigger enemies I'd like to have something that's going to enhance my damage output too. This skill is Stormcaller Arrow. Using it sticks an arrow into an enemy. After a short period of time, a lightning bolt comes from the sky and strikes them. This has a high chance to shock them, and shocked enemies take 30% more damage from all sources. If something big walks along, it's a good idea to throw one of these at them first to enhance your damage before following up with the other combo. Now, if I really want to enhance this combo, there are a couple of things I could do using our support gem system. Skills in Path of Exile are granted by items called skill gems. Each skill gem has coloured sockets in it, and these sockets are for other items called support gems.
Mấy cục gem
Support
bây giờ
gems
nhìn
modify
khác nè.
your skills, and it's where a huge amount of the customization of your character comes
Mà sao
from.
cái UI của
First,
cái
I'm going to take
inventory
this multiple
nhìn
projectile support gem.
nó rẻ tiền
I
sao
could
ta?
add it to my lightning arrow, and it would
Nhìn
fire
nó
multiple
giống như là
arrows.
mobile game
This would
vậy.
increase the number of targets I can hit, but that isn't the effect that I'm after. If I add it to my lightning rod skill instead, then when I fire it, I get a nice group of rods. This means that I don't have to spend as much time setting up before I can use it with my lightning arrow combo. I might also add faster
Làm
projectiles
sao
to
mà dịch
make the
được
lightning
có
rods land
cái dịch
faster
viên
too.
đâu.
Now next up I'm going to grab this chain support gem. Chaining causes many effects to repeat on new targets when you hit them. If I add it to my lightning arrow, it will cause the arcs that come out of lightning arrow to strike even more targets, rippling along my line of lightning rods for huge amounts of damage.
Ok. Cái nào tôi hiểu
Now
được
I think
thì
we
tôi
can
sẽ
use
dịch.
support gems to improve Stormcaller arrow as well. Let's start simple. I'm going to chuck less duration on here. This will cause the lightning from the sky to strike a bit faster. Next up, we have a support called Shock Proliferation. This support makes it so that any enemies shocked by the skill will also have the shock jump to nearby enemies, meaning they'll take the extra damage as well.
Nếu gì? Một con
It's
quái
just a
shock
chance
thì
to
những cái quái
proc, so it's not going to proc on
gần
every
bên
single
cũng sẽ
pack,
bị shock.
but when it does, a pack will go down ultra quick.
But it's kind of spread. Nó lay ra, nó lan
Another
ra.
useful empowering skill is Barrage. Barrage is one of the rare cooldown skills in PoE 2. It enhances whatever your next attack is to fire 3 times. With what we have here, I think it might be a good idea to use it with Lightning Arrow. It'll generate 3 times as many lightning explosions.
Barrage support.
You could also
Cho cái
use it
chiêu
at
bắn
just
được
the
3
right
lần.
moment with Snipe, or any number of other skills depending on what effect you need more of right now. It's very versatile and can be used in a range of situations. Now, even as mobile as the Ranger is, it's still very useful to slow monsters down.
Xem
And a
vào
Ranger certainly has quite a few
vào,
tools to do this.
Discord nói
If you're
chuyện
prepared
thì
to get up close
nhiều người
and
sẽ nói
personal,
á,
we have a skill called
cái cuối
Electrocuting
cùng
Rod.
không nghe được cái gì hết.
First, jump over the enemy and shoot it into them. Once the rod's in place, any lightning damage they take will build up a special electrocute gauge. Once the gauge is full, the monster is totally suppressed, allowing you to kill them easily.
Vào Discord ngồi nói chuyện chứ bây giờ xem livestream
Now,
mà ngồi
sometimes when you
nói
use
chuyện thì
electrocuting
đâu nghe
rods,
được
the enemy dies
đâu nghe
before you
được
get a
livestream.
chance to electrocute them. I think there's another support
Đâu
gem
nghe
I can
nói gì
add to
đâu.
my lightning arrow to fix this problem. Neural Overload will make it easier to electrocute enemies. If the skill it's attached to puts them over 50% of their electrocute bar, it will trigger instantly.
Bắn hoài mấy con quái nó không chết mà hấp dẫn cái gì. Không mà chắc là nó đang showcase cho nên nó phải bắn như vậy thôi chứ kiểu như cứ one shot thì nhanh quá.
Now, this skill works really well for suppressing a single large enemy, but I'd like to improve my crowd control ability for groups as well.
Mà sao
I'm going to add a
nhiều
support
chiêu
gem called
vậy?
Frozen Nexus to my Frost Escape. This makes an area of chilled ground around frozen enemies. I'll
Mình
also add
khi mà mình
deep
chơi mấy
freeze
game
to it as well,
ARPG
which will
mình
make the
thích
freezes
đánh
last a bit
một
longer.
chiêu thôi, một chiêu có thể giết hết tất cả.
Now, when I use my Frost Escape on that front enemy, others nearby are
Chắc không phải
slowed
là
down.
bắn 2-3 chiêu.
It would also be good if I had a
damage.
way to slow enemies
Quái
down
nó
when
mới
they're
chết.
farther away from me as well. So this would be a great time to start getting into the Ranger's poison and
Trừ khi nó là
plant-based
một
skill
cái
set.
game như là
To start with,
Black
let's
Desert
have a look at
Online.
Vine Arrow. This skill
Những cái
fires an arrow into the
combo
air that
nó-
creates a small plant where it lands.
Nó có
The
combo
plant
đồ
sends
hẳn
out
thôi
tendrils to
thì
nearby enemies,
chơi nó
slowing
sẽ
them
vui.
down and poisoning them.
Chứ còn mà
But it does have another function
bấm
too.
Q,
If the plant
bấm
gets
E,
further
bấm
poisoned, it
R,
transfers that poison to the
quái nó
monsters
chết.
it's attached to.
thì
Normally, you would only
Khác
be
thì
able to
đang
get
đánh
one stack
piano,
of poison
right?
on a monster at a time.
So now
You can put as
I'm
much
like
poison
that.
as you want on this plant. You could just use the plant to slow monsters down and not worry about the poison part. But if you want to go all in on poison, this is the way to do it. Now, if you do want to focus on poisons more, another useful skill is Poison Bloom Arrow. This skill creates these plant pustules on the ground. If you wait a little while, they'll explode.
A little while.
Just like any other plant skill,
little
these
while.
plants respond well to poison. Shoot the poison burst arrow at enemies nearby and watch your plants grow more and more powerful. Poisoning the pustules causes them to do much more damage and makes them explode much faster as well.
Skip open main here.
I can also add the pierce support
That's a
to
lot
poison
of
burst arrow.
doors.
Doing this will mean I get multiple poison bursts as it goes through each monster.
Sao nó không làm kiểu đi ngang qua là cửa nó tự nó mở luôn đi. UOL man. I don't know. So far
We also have another skill to make a nice environment for your plants to grow. Gas Cloud Arrow. This skill shoots the ground and creates a cloud of gas that continuously poisons things inside it. Throw your plants down, then put a gas cloud on top. The constant poisoning will make them grow.
Okay.
Another poison-related skill we have on the Ranger is called Plague Bearer. This is a reservation skill, meaning it uses spirit. When I enable it, I get this counter that counts up whenever I apply poison to a monster.
Okay. Cái này thì PoE 1
You can
có rồi
see
mà.
the counter on the skill increasing as each new monster is poisoned. Now I'm going to fight these monsters and make sure to poison them as much as I can to build up the counter. It does take quite a while to get the counter up to 100%, but it's worth it. Whenever I choose, I can unleash the poison in a big explosion around my character, dealing a large amount of damage.
That's it. Mình đang nghĩ là nó sẽ có một cái dòng rồi xong nó sẽ di chuyển thì cái dòng nó
Now next up we have a classic
ở đây nó thả ra một
rain
lúc
of
thôi
arrows.
rồi hết.
It's
That's
simple.
it. What?
Shoot a bunch of arrows in the sky,
That's
and they
so
rain
weak.
down for a short time. It's decent AoE and damage at long range.
No
Now this skill
effect,
doesn't last
nothing.
too long,
You don't
but
even
we
see
can
the
change
Plague
that.
Bearer.
It's time to introduce Frenzy Charges.
Cái skill Plague Bearer không
Frenzy
thấy
Charges
được
are
cái
used
dòng
for a
gì luôn.
variety of skills on the
Nothing.
Ranger, but with Rain of Arrows they can be used to extend the duration. How do we get some though? Here we have a skill called Sniper's Mark. Put it on an enemy and it will grant you a Frenzy Charge
Chắc
when
phải
you
mua
crit.
MTX rồi này nọ thì
Now remember that
thấy được cái
snipe
dòng
skill
của
from earlier?
Plague
That skill
Bearer.
guarantees a critical hit. So
Oh,
first we
that's
Sniper's Marked an
gold.
enemy,
What?
then we sniped them.
Gold
And after
kìa.
that, the next
Nhìn
rain of
giống
arrows
như
will last a
Diablo
really,
vậy.
really long time.
Vừa bắn quái nó rớt ra gold rồi
We
xong
still
gold.
have some
Gold
weaknesses
nó nằm
though.
trong inventory
While Rain of Arrows
2.8.
hits enemies with a ton of arrows, each one doesn't do much
So-
damage individually. It would be nice if
Gold
we had a
là
way
gì?
to break the armor on enemies so that Rain of Arrows dealt more damage. Thankfully, we have this Corrode
Trade
armor
bằng gold,
support gem,
mua đồ
and we can
bằng
put it on
gold.
our Gas Cloud arrow.
Thì khác gì
Corrode armor
Diablo
causes
với
poison
Last
to
Epoch.
erode the armor on targets until it's all gone. This will significantly increase the damage that Rain of Arrows does against armored
Vậy thôi
targets.
chỉ Last Epoch luôn đi chứ chơi là
Oh yeah, and one more thing about gas
hai làm gì?
clouds. They can be detonated with explosions. I have an explosive arrow here. Let's check it out.
I don't know. Not impressing me.
Now, because monsters and gas clouds are likely to have their armor broken, I think there's another useful combo we can do.
Hơi negative quá với
This is an exploit weakness
Pyrelics sau
support.
2 ngày.
This support provides extra bonus damage to targets that have their armor broken. Perfect for what we have going on here.
Ok. Graphic thì đẹp đó. Mỗi lần quái nó cháy thì nhìn nó cũng đẹp đó. Yeah.
So, those are just some of the
looks
skills
nice.
we have on the Ranger class in Path of Exile 2. Now that we've seen all these skills, let's see how well they do against a much tougher enemy. It's time to fight the boss of the temples, Thanos.
Thanos. Wait, what? Did he just say Thanos? Like from Thanos from Marvel? Oh, Thanos, not Thanos. Okay, Thanos. Thanos. Anti-Roboter thì Gold thì vẫn trade được thôi. Cái gì mà trade không được. Gold thì Roboter vẫn Roboter thôi. Không, nhưng mà mình thấy trade Chaos, trade Divine như bên Exile 1 cũng có cái hay của nó. Cái ra mình trade được những cái đó xong mình xài nó được rồi. Còn Gold thì cái nó không xài nó được đó. Càng ngày số lượng của nó càng nhiều, mà không xài được thì nó sẽ lạm phát. Đấy. Về cuối mùa cái gold nó không còn giá nữa. Hoặc là nếu mà nó có auction house thì xài vô cũng hợp lý để mà đỡ phải set nhiều cái tiền tệ khác nhau. Nhưng mà cũng không hẳn, tại vì bên như bên Torchlight Infinity thì nó vẫn trade những cái loại tiền tệ mà mình có thể sử dụng được. Như là bên đó thì nó có FE, right? Mình trade bằng cái đó và mình có thể sử dụng nó luôn. Được quà hả? Phải xem 45, đủ 45 phút bên cái Twitch nha bạn. Tôi có để cái link hồi nãy ở trên đó. Xem bên Twitch thì mới được nha, còn xem bên YouTube của tôi thì xem cho vui thôi. Xem bên Twitch thì mới được quà. Mà phải sign in, connect link tài khoản Pyrelics thì mới có quà nha.
You can also use your vaulting skills to jump right off the rower's back. Once the rower doesn't have a rider, it starts attacking monsters, so he's nice to have around, even if you're not riding him. That said, if you are riding, don't get hit. If you take a heavy stun while on a rower, you'll fall off, and it takes a while to get up, so be careful.
Okay.
So that's what we wanted to show you today. Now, there is just one more rather unfortunate bit of news.
No,
Path of Exile 2's beta is going to be delayed. We previously said that we would get the beta out on June 7th. And while I think we would be able to get the game's content ready in time, we underestimated how long it would take to get gameplay polished to a standard that we're happy with. We're still going to be doing alpha testing in June, but we're going to be delaying the beta until later in the year. I don't have an exact date for you today, but it should be towards the end of the year. In the meantime, you can still play Path of Exile 1, of course. Now, speaking of PoE 1, we also have the 324 expansion to announce. I'm going to hand over to Mark, the game director on PoE 1, to show us what's in store.
Yes, please.
We had a lot of fun making this one. So let's just get straight into it with the trailer for Path of Exile Necropolis.
Oh, here it goes. Giờ mới bắt đầu nè. Nãy giờ tôi xem gì tôi không biết.
Cold flesh, dirt, maggots, and
The Undertaker.
ghosts. Our job is to keep them where they belong.
Necropolis nghĩa là một cái nghĩa địa rất là lớn. So, đây là người giữ bộ.
Ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering.
What is this?
You learn to peer into the souls of the dead. You'll learn how to twist them. Meet me in the Necropolis. You can pilfer shiny things from a corpse, but you can pilfer glorious things from a soul. I need a grave digger.
A grave digger, not a gold digger. Tier 17 map, wow. Passive 3s, okay. Scarab, overhaul, okay. What? Passive life features, yeah, cái đó thì biết rồi. Transfigured gems, okay. Hình như có boss mới. Yeah.
The job's hard.
March 29, yeah. So
good.
March 29 thì là thứ bảy tuần
What do
tới.
you say?
29 là thứ sáu thì yeah, so thứ bảy.
In the Necropolis League, you will encounter Undertaker Aramor, a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for a mysterious purpose. These spirits have begun to haunt the monsters of Rayclast, unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern of Aramor, a powerful family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Rayclast. With it, the Undertaker hopes to employ you to rid Rayclast of this menace, and further his cryptic cause. The lantern can be used when entering any new area. When peering through it, you can examine the spirits haunting that area. The lantern also allows you to manipulate them, letting you configure which monsters are affected by which mods. It would be wise to take your time with your decisions here, for the spirits are not forgiving.
Oof.
When peering through the lantern, you can also see extra details about the packs of monsters in the area. Rowers here are considered common, whereas the water elementals are more scarce.
Okay.
If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals,
Mình chỉnh
which you'll
mod cho
encounter
quái
less
ở trong
often.
cái khu vực đó luôn.
We've tried to make sure that by engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty in the Necropolis League.
Các bạn phải
The
hiểu tiếng
spirits
Anh một
come
xíu
in a
chứ không
number of
thôi là
forms
chỉnh
which
mod sai.
represent the danger they
Cho những con
pose.
quái mà nó đông
For
á,
example
thì
here,
sẽ
the
rất là khó
infested
chơi.
vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Vol's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased damage. As you reach higher level areas in Rayclast, the tier and number of spirits that are haunting monsters will generally increase. Your game knowledge can help you here. If you're aware of the composition of a monster pack, this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For example, the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, well, I'm going to avoid the Devourer.
Newbie sẽ khó chơi.
You might have noticed that the Lantern of Aramor provides other useful information, such as the types of abilities monsters use, or the damage types they deal.
Rất là nhiều thông tin
So for
phải
those who are less
hiểu
familiar
và
with how
biết.
these monsters work, this can be a great way to learn what you're up against. The spirits are constantly moving throughout Rayclast, so if you are finding a campaign area too difficult, you can just wait a few minutes and peer through the lantern again to see what's changed. Of course, powerful spirits beget powerful rewards. There are two reasons why you might want to face a challenge now and then. Firstly, not all the spirits are malicious. Sometimes the monsters aren't haunted at all, but are instead devoted. These can grant basic rewards like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC that will grant you a single unique item after you defeat all of the packs affected by that spirit.
Okay.
The more haunted monsters you defeat in the previous area before using the lantern, the more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area.
Vậy trẻ ha.
Monsters haunted by higher tier spirits will increase the chance of the devoted appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting the hardest modifier possible on very common monsters, if you're brave enough. Again, we've tried hard here to allow players to customize the danger and rewards as much as they can. Aramor is an Undertaker, and you can probably guess what we're taking to him. The second main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra care from the Undertaker, and he will offer to take them back to his necropolis and store them in the morgue. Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Aramor's cemetery. For example, we will bury this Katava's Herald. Aramor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items. Here I've chosen to create a pair of boots.
Okay. Cái món tao qua bên như vậy hả?
These boots are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I hoped for. And this is where the Necropolis crafting system really shines.
Ooh, crafting.
You'll have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it. In fact, all collected corpses do. If you bury multiple corpses in the cemetery, all adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item.
Whoa.
All of the crafting effects on those corpses will apply to that same item. This allows you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the cemetery. For example, next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further, I could use these to generate higher tier modifiers. Then, I could try to bias it towards being an evasion pair with this.
New mod vậy?
Finally, I'll apply some crafting effects that improve the probability of getting good rolls.
Nếu này thì deterministic
Now,
quá.
let's craft our item and see what we get.
Trước sau vậy nó cũng nerf. Let's see. One C.
As you can see now, we have a much better pair of boots, forged from the souls of our enemies.
Oh, that's useful for leveling.
You can even use the entire cemetery to craft one item. There is always something you can do to try and ensure your item will be as best as it can be. We hope to see some really crazy grave crafts.
Mirror tier?
If you are lucky, you might find corpses with meta crafting modifiers. These can be buried to manipulate your crafting projects in more drastic ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses. Another meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied. All you have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
Vậy đi, chứ khó cái gì đó. Như này thì chắc là không có bán được vậy. Nếu mà bán được dư hơn ha.
You can also craft new unique items exclusive to the Necropolis League using this system. As you explore Rayclast, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families. And when you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they will thank you with a unique specific to their lineage.
Có xác của nguyên gia đình nữa. Chôn cả dòng họ thì sẽ ra một cái món đồ
Inheritance Belt.
What's that?
I'll give you a moment to check that out.
Wait, what? Laceration.
You can use other corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods, manipulate the values of explicit mods, and more. In this case, with the Pyrelics Pact, you can even change the modifiers it generates.
Okay.
This unique is a jewel which adds extra stats to passive skills in a radius when socketed into the passive skill tree. The stats it adds are randomly generated, but you can bias it towards a specific type by using other crafting effects, such as this one, which increases the chance of getting life modifiers. Let's see what we get.
Why 600%? One C tip.
Damn, we didn't get it this time. I guess we're gonna have to go and collect more corpses.
To get life, and you got crit? What?
Of course, you can trade the corpses away to other players. All you need to do is purchase empty coffins from the Undertaker and use them on your corpses in the morgue, which will itemize them.
Nice. Okay.
Another item in the Necropolis League that you can find are Embers of the Allflame. These are monster spirits that remain living in the Allflame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast. And you can set them free by placing them in the Lantern of Aramor and defeating them. These embers drop throughout Rayclast as itemized packs of monsters. You are able to use these packs to replace the packs in areas. For example, we have found this Allflame Ember of Tough War. We can now go to enter the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here. You can see we have also gotten one of the devoted modifiers to appear. We can pair up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations. However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their density, as the new pack will inherit the density of the replaced pack. The Karui ancestors we have now added to our area can even drop basic variations of tattoos. If you aren't aware, this is an item type from the Trial of the Ancestors League, which can be used on passive skills to change what they do. There are many different types of itemized packs. You can find Breach and Legion monsters that drop splinters, Untainted packs that provide insane amounts of experience, and even simple frogs, which can be used to replace difficult monsters to make life easier. And of course, these Ember monsters can be raised as specters too. Finally, let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps. Each in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI. However, instead of randomly cycling every few minutes, it is fixed to that map. Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device, so you can't trade that map away now that you've seen it is too difficult for you, or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid, like porcupines. We're also trying something new this time around.
Okay.
During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the League on the Atlas passive tree.
Phải chỉnh cái đó.
Multiple clusters will
Tốt
be
vậy.
there, allowing you to enhance the gameplay, customize it, and even change its behavior in meaningful ways. One way that you can change the crafting in a meaningful way is with the Prospero's Wager Keystone. With this keystone, all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with this crafting modifier, which causes them to generate a random craft when buried. This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results. These clusters will not be available in Standard League. In 3.24, we've made a plethora of changes to the endgame. We're introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining the Atlas. The most difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing Exarch. Currently, the only way to access these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree. While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants are now economically priced around the rewards of the Uber fights. This means it is wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of simply selling them. Another problem that we noticed is the difficulty jump between the Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content was relatively large, and there wasn't obvious content that could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses. In 3.24, we will be making some changes to this. We are removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that give you access to this content. Where do you get these fragments?
Where?
We are adding a new tier of maps, Tier 17 maps, which not only give you access to the Uber Pinnacle content, but also test your characters in new ways. They feature a new set of bosses, Uber monsters, and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps. There are 5 new Tier 17 maps in total, with some surprising boss fights at the end. We'll look at a couple today, and the rest you'll have to discover for yourself. First, we have the Citadel map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel. You will encounter many expedition monsters as the signature packs throughout the map. At the end, you will fight Uber Uhtred. This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced.
Oh no, I hate this
Uber
boss.
Uhtred will even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid it during the fight. Secondly, we have the Fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress, guarded by monsters from the Heist League. At the end, you will encounter an Uber version of the Unbreakable. Again, it has enhanced abilities and mechanics you'll have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farm. However, these aren't entirely new unique items. Instead, we've taken other unique items, removing them from the core drop pool and rebalancing them to fit here. One example is this reworked version of Wraith Lord. It has 4 Abyss sockets, and allows you to summon an additional Spectre for each Ghastly Eye Jewel socketed into it. Another example is Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before, alongside some more impactful mana stats, if you can get lucky rolls. Alongside adding Tier 17 maps, we have also changed the Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop pools from their non-Uber counterparts. This means there is a reason to farm both versions. Let's take a look at the Shaper versus the Uber Shaper. The Shaper will drop these uniques: Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil, and Dying Sun. Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these: Echoes of Creation, Sublime Vision, Entropic Devastation, Starforge, and a new unique belt called the Tides of Time.
Thì sẽ có lý do để mà farm hai loại đúng không? Chứ
another example of a new unique is this helmet from the Uber Eater of Worlds, Ravenous Passion. And these gloves from the Uber Searing Exarch, the Celestial Brace. Each of the Uber Pinnacle bosses has a new unique added to their drop pools. We've identified another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address. With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps. It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to run maps efficiently. It can be easy to forget critical steps, and it can be tiring to repeat them. To solve this, we are removing some systems, but are keeping what is good about them. The two main systems we've removed are Sextants and the Master Mission Selector.
What?
It is not our intention to dull the content, however. We have completely reworked Scarabs to include most of the options that were previously covered by those mechanics, and many, many more. Let's take a look at some of them.
Tại sao lại bỏ đi Sextant?
Commonly, you might find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content.
Bây giờ thì nó sẽ
Here,
nằm
we
trên
have a Scarab that causes
thôi.
beyond demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps. And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror. Each type of Scarab now has multiple versions, so if you want to fully invest in a type of content, you can do so. Here's a suite of Ultimatum Scarabs. This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter to a map. This Ultimatum Scarab of bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better rewards and its monsters to yield more experience. This Ultimatum Scarab of dueling will cause that Ultimatum encounter to always guarantee the Trial Master boss fight at the end, assuming you can survive through all the rounds. This Ultimatum Scarab of catalyzing will cause all rewards from that ultimatum to be catalysts instead of other rewards. And finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that ultimatum to be inscribed ultimatums instead. There are plenty of others. If you enjoy divination card farming, you might want to use these. This Divination Scarab of Curation causes more divination cards to drop for each different favoured map you have selected. But it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop divination cards from those favoured maps. So if you want to try and aim for your Mage Blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this Scarab is for you. This Divination Scarab of Completion causes your divination cards to have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack instead, for maximum dopamine. Basically, there are now just a lot of Scarabs. You might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them anywhere. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before, and more interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific Scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you'll need to relearn which ones come from where. While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree. You are now able to reliably get different leagues like Breach or Legion from just your Atlas passives. Regarding Master Missions, content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these too are now accessible with Scarabs, and have more reliable investment options on the tree. Not only this, you can now get Jun, Einhar, Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same map. We have also removed some keystones such as Wandering Path, Grand Design, and Growing Hordes. But I've added some new ones too. For example, Unwavering Vision, Back to Basics, and Thorough Exploration. And we have added some new notables such as Remarkable Relics, which allows you to try find better variants of Scarabs. Mounting Modifiers, which increases the values of modifiers on your maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces, which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of Scarabs. These are just a few of the many new notables that can be found on the Atlas passive skill tree. Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility in what content you want to run in the endgame. In 3.24, you can now have multiple copies of the Atlas tree, which can be swapped between maps at your leisure. You can unlock up to 2 extra trees for a total of 3 by progressing through the endgame and completing core content. When you open a map, you can select which tree you would like to use. For a given league, you'll never feel constrained to playing your endgame a single way. You can also label your trees to easily identify which one has which content.
On making
With all this combined, we're hoping to see new endgame strategies shine through.
Có ba cái Atlas skill
While playing
tree.
through the campaign in 324, you'll notice a myriad of small improvements and surprises. The fundamentals of the campaign are still intact, but we've scattered fun encounters and secrets throughout Rayclast. The Dweller of the Deep has been trapped. What are these ritual shrines doing in the northern forest?
Switch lại form cái này, form kia.
And why are they giving me omens?
Oh, I love this link already.
This device looks safe. I should definitely use this on my items.
Okay.
There are plenty more encounters to discover. We'll continue adding more surprises in future releases, so keep an eye out. In the previous expansion, 323, we released a large number of transfigured skill gems. These are alternate versions of existing skill gems that function in very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety.
Let's go!
At the time, our aspirations were higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 324, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished.
Oh, more transfigured gems.
Incinerate, Artillery Ballista, Tornado, Elemental Hit, Kinetic Blast, Poisonous Concoction, and lastly, Summon Holy Relic. Hopefully those of you who missed your favorite skill having a transfigured variant will get that here. We will certainly be adding more of these in the future, especially for skills that are missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems. One of the main ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation. As a result of this change, it is clear that the endgame potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target damage department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill, if you have enemies in your presence. And if there are any rare or unique enemies, they will always use the skill. That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in 324, and there's a shitload of them. Many of these have been revealed in teasers already, but here's a quick summary. We've added the automation and call to arms skill gems, for being able to trigger instant skills and war cries without having to bind them to left click. You can now hold down Control and left click to automatically apply certain currency orbs until they achieve the desired result, or you run out. For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links. You will be able to control, shift, click currency into a trade window to automatically move all of that currency at once from your inventory. Detonate Dead now has clearer telegraphing effects.
Detonate Dead, dễ thấy hơn.
When harvest crafting, the item hover will always be visible, so you no longer have to mouse back and forth to see the results of your crafts. When you use a Val orb on a map, the map no longer has a chance to become unidentified. Instead, it adds a new implicit. We've created a set of implicits that affect the areas in fun ways. Related to that, corrupted and mirrored items can now be identified. Breach hands now open upon approach, and no longer need to be clicked. Upgrades to Pantheon powers now apply to all characters in a league. You no longer need to grind divine vessels on each new character. With harvest crafting, you can now re-roll Uber Elder fragments. Fragments dropped by the Shaper cannot be re-rolled into fragments dropped by the Elder, and vice versa. Regarding Betrayal, we're removing Ashling's crafting bench as a reward. Instead, Veiled Orbs now perform that function. They remove a mod and replace it with a Veiled mod. These orbs now drop from Katarina and are no longer a world drop. Flasks can now be corrupted by Val Orbs, giving random -10 to +10 quality. The capability to add extra quality to weapons, armors, and flasks has been removed from Betrayal. The Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to bestiary, and thus can be traded. Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead, when you have completed witnessing all bosses required to go to the Maven's arena, you can just talk to Kirak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there, ready to be rolled. Valdo's maps that granted invitations now give Scarabs. No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching two new series of supporter packs, the Solar and Eldritch packs. Each tier contains the full pack's face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Necropolis League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic, and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
It's a good league, guys. Mùa này rất là đáng
The
chơi.
Solar series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Mùa vừa rồi,
The
content
Cosmos
mùa rồi
weapon
mình không
effect
đụng
adorns
vô
your
luôn.
weapon with
Cũng có chơi nhưng mà
stars.
không thích nó lắm.
Hitting enemies causes cosmic energy to spill out into the area around them.
Okay.
The Radiant Orb of Chance extra effect projects the outcome of items you've used an Orb of Chance on above your head.
Orb of Chance.
Remember to congratulate other exiles in town if you see them chance a powerful unique item.
Okay.
Shine boldly with the Solar Knight armor set. The power of the sun radiates from your body, getting more and more intense as you use skills and emitting solar flares as you run.
Một
With the
cái,
supernova
bộ
level
đồ
up
có thể
extra
đốt cháy
effect,
kẹp
the
màn hình.
dead will be raised from the ground around you, before being obliterated and turned to ash by an epic supernova whenever you level up.
Oh, that's leveling
This one
up.
is my personal favorite. The Cosmic Turtle Hideout lets you travel the infinite expanse of the cosmos atop the back of a colossal turtle.
Oh, that's a nice hideout.
Carry the weight of the sun on your back with the Solar Guardian back attachment.
Okay.
Witness it grow larger and larger as the energy of slain enemies is funneled into it. When it reaches its maximum size, it goes supernova and turns into a black hole, forever drifting throughout Rayclast.
Okay.
The Eldritch Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. Are you wondering if we moved the stash in the latest patch? Don't be fooled, because with the Mimic Stash Pet, players can transform into an image of a stash when in a town or hideout and scare unsuspecting exiles. This pet follows behind you with its terrifying hand-walking the rest of the time. The Shaper's Slam finisher effect sends slain unique enemies into a
Final abyss of unending
If only that
darkness.
was cheap.
The Eldritch Hunger armor set contains a beast that demands you defeat it by embracing your bloodlust. Watch it grow in power the more you kill until it bursts from the shell of the helmet. Are you able to satiate its hunger?
Nah.
The seed within the Corrupted Growth map device expands its grasp on your hideout, the more maps you complete on your atlas. Equipping the Headhunter character effect causes skulls of slain rare enemies to whirl around you like trophies. They become enraged when you are near a rare enemy you are yet to kill, wishing for them to join your collection. Witness a reality where the struggle didn't exist, allowing the Eldritch Horrors to settle their own conflicts with the Eldritch Horror Apparition effect. Which of the Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch do you think will win? These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile Necropolis.
Okay, có thể mua rồi.
Meanwhile, the Shade and Disciple packs leave the store forever at the launch of Necropolis League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Okay.
We're just about to start the Q&A with
Spoiler
Ziggy
pack mùa
D.
này cũng
Afterwards,
nah.
we'll post Path of Exile Necropolis' full patch notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Necropolis'
Ok,
release.
được quà rồi nha. Bạn nào
Keep an
xem
eye on
nãy
the
giờ thì
news. On release weekend, we
có thể
expect to
nhận quà
launch
rồi.
the new
Bốn-
mystery
xem
box
nãy giờ được 4
and
gift
this
rồi.
season's Kerax Vault Pass. Thank you for joining us today and checking out our latest
Nó
developments.
sẽ hiện lên trên đây. Các
We're
bạn
looking
vào
forward to
và
doing some
bấm
awesome gravecrafts and conquering the
claim
new
now.
endgame bosses with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your
Nhớ
questions
vào
ready.
bấm claim nào chứ không thôi nó sẽ mất đấy nha. So, yeah. Các bạn mà xem livestream nãy giờ thì cứ vào nhận quà đi. Tại sao tôi nhận không được? Tại sao lại là error? Oh shit. Give me my gift. Có ai nhận quà mà bị lỗi không?
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Cái quái gì vậy? Tại sao cứ error?
Good morning, Exiles, and welcome to our Q&A portion for today. I'm joined by Jonathan and Mark, and first thing, we're going to be talking about Path of Exile 1 questions. As I know that's the content that you'll be getting your hands on soon and want to hear all about. And then afterwards, we'll follow up with a bit of a deep dive into Path of Exile 2 reveals, both from today and also some of the other stuff that came up during the recent hands-on event. But good morning, Jonathan and Mark. How are you going?
Hey, really nice to be here again.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure. I love talking to you folks about Path of Exile.
Come on.
So let's kick things off with the new league, Necropolis. And I just want to ask, should I ask about Lycia and Katarina and what it means for them to be involved, especially since they're like characters that are actively present elsewhere in the game in another mechanic right now? Like, what does that mean?
We bent the rules a little bit on that teaser. They're not actually involved. They're only in the sense that they are both T17 map bosses. So you don't actually fight them together, but we thought it would make a cool, little teaser shot there, and I think it did. It raised a lot of questions. So yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, we're just doing some timeline stuff. Oh, they both kind of like deal with death. So
why can't I receive it?
Like when you get into maps, everything's all memories and the line gets a bit blurred. You can kind of do whatever you want, which is a good thing about that system. You don't have to stay so grounded and sensible. But so yeah, we do have some interesting encounters going on there that are a bit different. But you know, it's, again, the maps allow us to kind of detach from the groundedness of the world and the rules of what's actually happening in there.
It looks like there's a lot of boss stuff coming this league. Is that all focused in the new T17 maps, or is there some with the league mechanic itself as well?
No, we focused the monster development this time round on the T17s instead of the league. So there's no new bosses in the league, but there are some reuse of monsters through like the Allflame Embers and whatnot, but not bosses. And then we put all our boss development towards creating these T17 bosses as well as the monsters. Like there are quite a lot of actual interesting monsters in the T17 maps as well. Like I don't know if people saw, but you can get Brutus as just a monster. Like he's not a boss. There are packs of Brutuses and various other monsters throughout like the non-notable ones, which will be quite interesting to see. You'll probably find a rare hasted Brutus as a whole different level compared to even the Brutus map boss and whatnot. So.
Yes, we experienced that last league in Affliction at launch.
Anyway,
for those of us there who empowered that boss. That was an experience.
Chắc cũng không hiểu mấy ông này nói gì đâu. So, cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi livestream hôm nay. Mình sẽ tóm tắt lại cái mùa này ở một cái video để mà các bạn dễ hiểu hơn. Cũng khá là nhiều content trong cover. So, yeah. Rồi, nhận quà rồi đi ngủ thôi. Sáng dậy làm video. Ở đây nhận quà không được. Chán thế. Rồi, sáng dậy nhận quà sau vậy. Rồi, giờ đi ngủ rồi mà lấy sức sáng làm video chứ. Giờ mấy giờ? 4 giờ ngủ được hơn. Được 1 tiếng nữa. Không, mà nãy giờ tôi uống cà phê rồi, không biết ngủ lại được không. Shit. Thôi, tức làm video luôn cho rồi. Ok. Yep, cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi buổi livestream và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những buổi livestream và những video tiếp theo. Xin chào và tạm biệt. Oh yeah. Ok, bye.